UH football team is making a change to its play calling. Offensive coordinator Rodney is handing over game day duties to quarterbacks coach Nick Rolovich and offensive line coach Gordy Shaw.
The communication is a lot better than last year. I think I feel much more comfortable with Ronnie. I know what he's thinking a lot more than I did last year. And it is, we're going to work together still a lot, but it is an opportunity, and, I'm ready for it.
Coach Lee says his priority will be making adjustments to the receivers during the game instead of afterwards. While Rolovich and Shaw have increased their workload, Coach Mack says Lee will still have final say over what plays are called during the game.
Ron Lee's still our offensive coordinator. He still gives us our direction all week long. I think it's a move that'll maybe speed up some of the play calling in the chain of command.
Yeah, play calling is highly overrated in that when you make a game plan, the whole staff is involved in making the game plan. So whoever calls the plays on game day calls from the situations that the whole staff has called.
The Warriors leave for Seattle tomorrow afternoon. UH and Washington State kick things off this Saturday at 1 p.m. Hawaii time. Keep in mind, this is the final of this series agreement. Yesterday, the Cougars canceled the 2011 game against Hawaii.
Ron Lee is an unselfish team guy, and I couldn't be happier with him. And it's really his decision, and I think it'll make us better, on the offensive side of the ball. He's done a great job, and he still will.
I hope you're all having a pleasant evening. Change announced by UH head football coach Greg McMackin today. Mack says he and offensive coordinator Ron Lee have mutually agreed to relieve Lee of play calling duties on game day. McMackin says it frees Lee up to work with his receivers while the game is going on. The big talk today is play calling on game day.
Yeah, play calling is highly overrated. So whoever calls the plays on game day calls from the situations that the whole staff has called. So to me, it's not that big a deal. Ron Lee is going to be my offensive coordinator for life. It will help our offense more if he's watching the receivers. He felt that, he wasn't able to watch the receivers, so his adjustments were after the game instead of during the game.
So play calling responsibilities now goes to quarterbacks coach Nick Rolovich, former UH QB himself. He'll stay on the field during the game and get help in the running game from offensive line coach Gordy Shaw. So to be clear, Coach Mack says Ron Lee is still offensive coordinator for the Warriors. He will remain in the coach's box during games, help put together the game plan during the week, and be on headset with Rolovich when Hawaii has the ball. You welcome the chance to be the guy calling plays?
I do. I have to. I feel much more comfortable with Ronnie. I know what he's thinking a lot more than I did last year. We're going to work together still a lot, but it is an opportunity, and, I'm ready for it.
If you want to be a coach, you have to have prepared mentally to play this chess match during a live game. That's where it gets good, doesn't it?
Yeah. You're looking for certain things, and you have to be plays ahead and setting people up with, different formations and plays. And it's going to be a challenge, but I plan on being ready for it.
You have a tendency to want to call them like the way you played it?
Yeah, but situations are different. But I got to really be dedicated to what I'm looking at on the sideline. Ron's still the leader and still the guy who's really got the eyes in the sky and what he's seeing, and it's not like he's going to be on mute up there. He's going to have a lot to say and a lot of input, and if he wants something, we're going to go with it.
Team hits the road tomorrow to play Washington State Saturday. Then they stay on the road to play UNLV.
Everybody, let's talk sports. This Saturday, when the UH Warrior football team takes on Washington State, a few things will be different. First off, it'll be the first road game of the season for 1-0 Hawaii, and they'll be playing in Quest Field in Seattle, home of the Seahawks, as opposed to Wazoo's home campus in Pullman. But most significantly, there will be a new play caller, or more specifically, new play callers, for the Warrior offense. Offensive coordinator Ron Lee, the primary play caller through the last 15 games going back to 2008, will give way to quarterbacks coach Nick Rolovich and O-line skipper Gordy Shaw. Lee will maintain his coordinator post, however, and will continue to take the lead in offensive game planning. But according to head coach Greg McMackin, the two reached a mutual agreement to have Lee focus on working more directly with the Warrior receivers. The UH coaching staff and players assure the change is no big deal.
Ron Lee is going to be my offensive coordinator for life, and he made the call on the winning touchdown, and it was a great call. But it will help our offense more if he's watching the receivers, and he and I mutually decided that we'll make the game plan up, and then Rolo, with the help of Gordy in running situations, will make the call. Anytime Ron wants to make a call, he can make a call because he's offensive coordinator.
How much play calling autonomy do you feel like you're going to have?
Well, I feel that a lot of that's done during the week situation. Now if they give us something completely different than what we're expecting, then we need to adjust together. But Ron's still my boss, and if he wants something, we're going to go with it. We'll be very similar. This is what the kids know. This is what we feel comfortable with. It should work out fine.
Basically, whatever they give me, we're running, and that's how, that's as far as my part goes in it. And so we just got to execute whatever gets called and whoever's calling it.
5 seconds left to play.
Rolovich says he and Shaw will remain on the sideline, with Ron Lee surveying the game from up in the coach's box. Warriors take on 0-1 Washington State Saturday at 1 p.m. Hawaii time. Former UH offensive lineman Keenan Forney is getting another shot in the NFL. Forney was signed today by the Jacksonville Jaguars. The 6'3", 300-pounder spent 7 solid seasons at right guard in Atlanta before joining San Diego in 2008. Chargers released him last week. Forney joins another former Warrior lineman, Vince Manuwai, in Jacksonville.
His code name is Blueprint, yet Warrior receiver Rodney Bradley doesn't know where quarterback coach Nick Rolovich got it from or why he gave that name to him. However, Bradley, a junior college transfer, does know he couldn't have asked for a better debut in the Division I ranks. Rodney Bradley may not have registered the biggest numbers in the Warriors' 2009 season opener.
Rodney Bradley! That was a fantastic pass!
But his game-winning catch with 88 seconds left in the game made him a household name in the islands.
It was pretty big. I don't even know how to explain it. Greg put the ball in a perfect spot. I was able to make the play on it. Yeah, it was pretty big. Man, I got all the calls and texts after the game.
A native of Texas, Bradley is used to doing things big. But living in an island state 25 times smaller than the Lone Star State has its own perks.
Here is always nice, beautiful ladies, beautiful area, so that's a plus. It is a long way from home, though. When I got here, I had problems with being homesick, but, as the season went on, it started to wash away a little bit.
Besides Aloha Stadium, Bradley is also hoping to get around and see places like Pearl Harbor. He's also looking to experience another popular island activity, and it's definitely not surfing.
I want to go parasailing one time, at least once. I don't want to do surfing. I don't know, I'm scared of that. I just don't want to be in the water because I don't really know what's down there. I don't want to be surfing and wave come wash me down and then I'm out there with the sharks or something. I'm scared of that.
But as long as he's not scared of making more big plays, I'm sure nobody will mind. Now, interestingly, Bradley arrived in the islands from Navarro Junior College in Texas, where he was teammates with Warrior defensive back Tank Hopkins. And next week, we turn the spotlight to the golf course and feature UH golfer and reigning Manoa Cup champion, T.J. Kua. Speaking of the Warriors, after their opening day win, quarterback coach Nick Rolovich will now call the offensive plays from the sidelines, while offensive line coach Gordy Shaw will assist in the running situations. It's an idea offensive coordinator Ron Lee offered up after the coaches watched tape of their latest game.
He felt that, he wasn't able to watch the receivers, so his adjustments were after the game instead of during the game. And it's really his decision, and I think it'll make us better, on the offensive side of the ball.
Ron's still the leader, and still the guy who's really got the eyes in the sky and what he's seeing, and it's not like he's going to be on mute up there. He's going to have a lot to say and a lot of input, and, he makes the final call.
Now the coaches will begin their new duties on Saturday when Hawaii travels to Seattle to take on Washington State. And Steph, that is a game that will be live on pay-per-view at 1 p.m.
All righty, thank you very much, Jason.